Okay, everyone, welcome to our webinar about RealSatisfied, one of your new member benefits. And we've got Jeff Turner and Laura Monroe here from RealSatisfied.
And thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I'd like to start off, first of all, welcome everybody. I appreciate your time and your attention. I know we all have busy schedules, so taking the time to attend one of these live is awesome. Thank you so much. What I'm showing you on the screen today is what has become known as the public face of RealSatisfied. And as a result of the customer satisfaction, performance, and recommendation ratings that we show on these profiles, we often get lumped into the category of an agent rating and review platform. And while it's true that agent ratings and reviews are a byproduct of what we do, what we really are is a customer satisfaction platform. We have teamed up with the San Antonio Board of Realtors to provide you with this service and are happy to do so, because one of the most important aspects of making this service work is the consistency with which you communicate with your customers at the close of a transaction. The main benefit that the San Antonio Board of Realtors is providing to individual agents on the platform who have signed up for the Agent Lite accounts through the platform is the notification that the San Antonio Board of Realtors is going to trigger at the close of the transaction to remind you to send a customer satisfaction survey to your clients. We know by looking across the board, agents who are on our platform and who are on the platform as a result of an association integration have 6 times more surveys in their account than agents who don't. We totally get it. You become very, very focused moving from transaction to transaction. And so these reminders are an important part of what we do. And what we do is collect detailed feedback from your customers at the close of a transaction that ultimately manifests in this public display of data. Now, when we launched in the United States, this profile that you're seeing here today did not exist. All of the data that we collected on behalf of agents and brokers was held privately. It was presented only for the edification of the agents and the brokers who were on the platform. And some of our first brokers, after we launched, came to us and said, we know what to do with the data that we see in the background, but we really would love to have a way for agents to be able to take more advantage of the data that's being collected in these customer satisfaction surveys. So this profile that you're seeing was built to honor what we believe should be standard, and that is the data that we collect for you is yours. It's not ours. Our job is to collect data and to make it easy for you to distribute that data. And so when we built these agent profiles, we built them on the backs of an RSS feed. You may already be familiar with what an RSS feed is, but for those of you who may not be, it is the most open way of sharing or syndicating data on the web. Every newspaper in the country utilizes it to syndicate. Every blog on the planet uses RSS feed to syndicate. And even Facebook, which is not an open platform, as you may be aware, is using RSS feed to pull in content from publishers now on their platform. So from an openness standpoint, we place no barriers between the data we collect for you and the places you might want that data to live. And so this page is really just an example of what you can do with the RSS feed. Everything you see on this page is contained in that RSS feed, and it's what we utilize to syndicate out to other platforms. So until about a month ago, the only data that could be displayed on a RealSatisfied profile was the aggregate data. So it used to be that this was the only way that data could be displayed. There was an aggregate satisfaction, performance, and recommendation rating that was an average of all of the survey responses collected on your behalf, and customer testimonials could be displayed after you approved them. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail, but no text content ever appears in your feed or on the RealSatisfied page without your approval. And the only text content that can appear are testimonials. We don't provide an opportunity for the consumer to place review content on these profiles. We turned on the detailed ratings. And you'll notice the difference here is that in this case there are no ratings on this lower right-hand side associated with testimonials, and the only thing available here are testimonials. This detailed rating was turned on a few weeks ago as a result of the anticipation of some new integrations that were coming, one of which impacts the state of Texas and the other which impacts the country. And so this detailed rating was made available and is now the default. And so even if a customer does not provide a testimonial, the detailed rating associated with that survey can also be displayed here at your option. And so what does that enable? What does all of this being in an RSS feed and this detail do? So the first thing that was launched after the creation of detailed ratings was our integration with HAR.com, which now obviously has an integration across the state. You obviously have the ability to take advantage of that on HAR profiles if you choose. I'm illustrating it here just to show you the power of what this RSS feed can do. And so as a result of this content being so open and so easy to access, and because we do ask so many questions on our survey, we can map to just about any rating. And so in this case, we were able to map very, very specifically to the factors that were being collected since 2009 on HAR.com. The real power of this, though, comes in the ability for anyone to be able to integrate this satisfaction and testimonial data onto their platforms using just, quite frankly, a simple vanity key. Since every agent has their own RSS feed, brokers, brands can incorporate this data onto agent profile pages, and agents can do the same thing by simply putting that key into the place provided by the website providers who are building these integrations. We place no rules whatsoever around the display of this content because it's not our data. You'll notice that in this case, it was chosen to display this way. In this case, the data is displayed completely differently, totally at the discretion of the broker and the agent, and again, all based upon the agent opting in to share this data on these platforms by putting in their vanity key. What's the advantage of this over, you may hear the term sometimes, do you have an API? We do have an API. But the API is used for the triggering and sending of surveys and the passing of data back and forth between brokers and brands. We don't have an API associated with the content that we collect on your behalf because an API, quite frankly, would not be as open. When we meet with third-party providers like Cloud CMA, for example, and they ask us, we would love to include this satisfaction and testimonial data inside of our product, we often get asked, do you have an API that allows us to access this? And when we tell them, it's easier than that. We have an RSS feed. You can almost hear the collective sigh of relief on the other side of the phone because they know that there's less programming involved and that there's certainly no barrier to getting that data in. So Cloud CMA being an example, all you have to do to trigger the creation of this page inside of the CMA reports that you provide when you're doing listing presentations is to put your RealSatisfied vanity key into the place provided by Cloud CMA. That vanity key is just the last portion of your RealSatisfied URL that you'll find here, but I'll show you where you can easily find that at any time in a couple of minutes. And so other integrations like Spacio Pro, for example, the same process. You simply put your vanity key into the control panel on the Spacio Pro side, and then it enables the display of your satisfaction and testimonial data inside of this open house app so that it can be displayed anytime people are walking through open houses and you're collecting information on their behalf. It works this way for all integrations. More and more associations are building agent profile pages and incorporating this kind of data onto those agent profile pages, and we believe that this data can and should live anywhere the public has the ability to interface with your agent profile. It's another opportunity to display your competency and to gain the attention of consumers who are searching the web. We don't believe that it should only be the purview of the portals. We believe this data should live anywhere. And so we go out of our way to enable this data. And this detailed data that is now available, it's possible that before the end of the week, we will no longer only be sending recommendations to the recommendations section of Realtor.com, but we will also be sending this detailed data into the ratings section of Realtor.com so that it shows up in this ratings section. We were the initiators, we were the leaders in getting the portals to understand the necessity of the potential for syndicating this data. Realtor.com was the first to jump on board with it several years ago, and we've been syndicating recommendations to the only place at the time that was possible, and that is this recommendations section on Realtor.com. But soon, and as a result of the initiation of those detailed ratings, these ratings will appear on Realtor.com as well. And again, that will happen automatically. So how does that work? You have, once you've opted in through the offer that comes to you through the San Antonio Board of Realtors, and the way this works is very simple. You're going to get a notification at the close of a transaction that this member benefit is available to you. The member benefit is the Agent Lite account at a discount. An Agent Pro account is $99 typically. The Agent Pro account through San Antonio Board of Realtors is $79. That Agent Lite account gives you an unlimited number of surveys. You may send as many as you wish. The only limitation is how many testimonials you can see. So on the fourth testimonial, you'll be asked to upgrade. But again, your discount on that through Sabor is $79. So how does it get managed? Everything that gets displayed on this page is under your control. So when you sign in to your RealSatisfied account, you have a dashboard that is contained in a single page. We built this as a single page dashboard to make it easier for you to be able to learn and navigate. Everything on this page happens in a pop-up window. There are no multiple pages for you to understand and learn. And the first time you log into your account, and anytime you wish to, this video is available for you to view right here. And the video is me walking you through what all of these different buttons down the left-hand side do and mean. And I'm not going to spend a great deal of time showing you each one of these buttons. I just want you to understand that if you click around, everything you need will pop up for you. Okay? The most important thing for you to understand is that you obviously have full control over your profile details. That's available here. And what appears on your page, what appears on your agent profile on RealSatisfied. So you may choose to display or to not display your ratings. If you have, for whatever reason, some philosophical difference with the display, public display of ratings, you are perfectly free to say, I don't want my ratings displayed. And if you choose this, it will not only disappear from your agent profile page on RealSatisfied, but it will also be removed from the RSS feed that goes out to other syndications. So the data simply won't be available to anyone else, if that makes sense. The goal here is to give you full control. Again, it's your data. You should have the ability to control it. Now, what percentage of agents on our platform actually do that? It's much lower. When I ask this in front of public audiences, I get estimates as high as 30 and 40%. The truth is it's less than 1%. So I believe, personally, the vast majority of real estate agents do a very good job for their client. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that the vast majority of agents do display their ratings. Now, the default for your account is that ratings will be displayed as detailed ratings for each survey. However, again, this is totally at your discretion, and you may choose to show only the aggregate ratings. So again, aggregate ratings are simply the average of all of the surveys that have been collected on your behalf, and that will show underneath your profile photo. Detailed ratings will show the detailed rating for every returned survey and the testimonials that you decide to make public. These some confusion does exist here. We often get some questions to the customer service desk, customer desk at RealSatisfied. I put in my Google Plus link, how come my testimonials aren't flowing to Google Plus? These are not syndication integrations. These are links to other places that you might want to lead a consumer if they happen to land on your profile, okay? So where that shows up is here. Underneath this information, all of these symbols that show up are generated by you placing those links into that file. The actual syndication options are below your profile settings here. So there is syndication directly to Realtor.com. That is an all-on, all-off measure. If you turn on the syndication to Realtor.com, every testimonial you approve, and in the future, every survey response you get will be fed automatically to Realtor.com. Facebook and Twitter, however, are done on a review by review basis. So any testimonial that's received is turned into what we call a visual graphic. That visual graphic is used to share out the social media, and I'll show you how that approval process works and how you can change the color of those graphics in a second. Any notifications that come from our system that start to annoy you, just click on here and turn them off, and we'll stop sending you those notifications. There's obviously also links in any email we send you that will allow you to take action to stop getting the notification on any specific survey response that you're getting. The feeds and widgets available to you as an agent are located here. We have what I'll call a non-WordPress website widget that's based on JavaScript that allows you to go and customize the look and feel of the testimonials that would display on your website, and then you grab the code that you can copy and paste into the widgets section of your website. We have a WordPress plugin, and this is, again, queued off of your vanity key. Your vanity key is always available to you here, just underneath your profile photo. And so again, it's just the last portion of your RealSatisfied URL, but it is available here, and that is what is required to trigger the data that sits inside of the WordPress plugin. Now, the WordPress plugin takes on the look and feel of your website. This is an example of the WordPress plugin in action here. It will use the styling of your website and take on that look and feel automatically, and when you click on the Read More button, opens up a pop-up window for that testimonial and shows that this was validated by RealSatisfied. All of this updates in real time. Any time that Tanya gets a new survey in or a new testimonial, it automatically updates via the WordPress plugin on her WordPress site. I want to say again though, the most powerful way of integrating into any website is utilizing the RSS feed. If your website provider is good, and I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek, they will not have trouble working with this RSS feed, and it will allow them to customize it to suit any look or feel you might want for your website. Okay? So those are the integrations. I noticed that a question came in. If you have a difficult buyer or seller and they write a negative review, is it like Yelp or can it be removed? So there's two things that I want to explain here. If you look at a profile page, and I'll go back to Anthony's profile page, we don't surface comments from inside of the surveys that we collect. We believe those are best dealt with by you, the agent. And the reason that we do this, and I have a very strong belief about this, and I think Laura, you'll agree, you share this belief too. Mm-hmm. The context of a real estate transaction is complex. Two of the same model house in the same neighborhood at the same price can be completely different transaction experiences. If one consumer is going through a divorce and another consumer is having a baby, and that's the reason why they're moving, it does color their entire experience. And so the only thing that remains public is that rating. There are no comments. And so if you get a survey response back from a legitimate client, we will not delete it, but we do not surface the comments from inside of any survey. We only surface testimonials, and only then once you've approved them. No text comments from any survey appear on your profile without your approval, and I hope that answers the question. We don't allow the deletion of those surveys because it would invalidate these customer satisfaction ratings. Part of our job, we believe, is to make certain that if we're going to show a rating, that that rating is real and it's coming from customers who have actually done business with you, not someone who's upset that you didn't return their phone call within 5 minutes after seeing your number on a for sale sign. Okay? Okay. Every survey invitation and response that has ever been sent out from our system is available to you here in your dashboard. Again, as a result of the Sabor integration, you will receive a notification, a reminder to send a survey at the close of each transaction. We can't do anything unless you provide us with your client details. So even though you get a notification, we can't take action without those client details. You can, however, send, let's say you decide tomorrow, you know what, that Jeff guy did a great job on this webinar. I think I'm going to go ahead and sign up for RealSatisfied. You don't have to wait for a closing to send a survey. This send a survey invitation button is available to you here. You simply need to select the survey type, so it's typically a seller or buyer survey that you want to send. We suggest that the property description be the property address, and the reason is we know that these emails get opened more often when the property address is the subject of the email. So the property description is the subject of the email. Put in the seller name, Jeff Turner, the greeting, Jeff, email address, Jeff at jeff.com. You can preview that invitation. This will show you exactly what that survey invitation is going to look like, and once you're satisfied, you can hit send. So what we suggest, however, is that if you're going to send a survey to previous clients, because the survey is designed to be sent as close to the close of transaction as possible, the opening sentence does say you recently completed a transaction with agent name. If you're going back more than 30 days, and it's a good idea to do this anyway because return rates are much higher when customers understand that a survey is coming from a third party, please pick up the phone and let your client know that they're going to be getting a survey from us. Two things that ensures. If it's been 6 months since you closed that transaction and this is your first communication with them post-close, I guarantee you that what they're going to be rating is not your performance inside of that transaction, it's your communication since that transaction. So we want you to be able to go back and survey past clients in order to collect data from them, to collect testimonials and to build up your customer satisfaction rating, but we also want to make certain you're being reviewed for the right behaviors. So again, you may send a survey at any time. Notifications that get sent to you from RealSatisfied contain what I'll call an intelligent link. So when you get a notification, so you'll notice here, it might be hard to see on your screen, you have survey invitations, missing client details. The link that you get in that email will take you directly to this place on your mobile phone. So you can take action to correct that from your mobile phone without having to remember your login and password. And all of the notifications from our system work the same way, including testimonial approval. Every testimonial you receive, when you get the notification, it is sent to you not only with a PDF of that survey response, as are all survey responses, and you'll notice that these survey responses are very detailed. Again, we ask a lot of questions on our survey. We do not apologize for that. On average, 50%, just about 50% of people who receive our surveys complete them. 87% of people who start our surveys finish them. So that it's about 1 in 10 people who stop filling out a survey. 1 in 10 people stop filling out any length of survey. So do not be scared off by the length of our surveys. Your clients have just completed a transaction with you that in many cases has had them communicating with you for 30, 60, 90 days. This is the most important transaction of their life. They are more than willing to provide you with details. And so that detail that's collected on your behalf is given to you in a PDF format. You obviously can utilize these PDFs any way you see fit. If you want to understand where these ratings come from, just look to these colored asterisks. That's a hard word to say, asterisks, next to the numbers, and scroll down and you'll see what questions make up those numbers. If you see a question without an asterisk next to it, those questions do not have an impact on your customer satisfaction rating. They are there to give you further information, like in this instance, factors of influence. What was important to them when they were considering choosing you? We believe that this kind of data is also incredibly important business intelligence for you to use in helping make decisions about your business moving forward. We also provide you a PDF of the testimonial in what I'll call a more professional format. You can print this testimonial out and include it in listing presentations if you wish, and it does show that this is validated by RealSatisfied, so you can talk around that. And then lastly, the notification allows you a review process to determine whether or not you want to make a testimonial public. Again, you can come back and go through this process as many times as you wish. You may want to retweet or resend or reshare a testimonial out to social media, and you can do that through this process.
Which we encourage, by the way.
We do encourage, especially on Twitter. And Laura, you know this to be true, that the Twitter stream moves very, very fast. That was my cue to have you talk.
That the visual testimonials too on Facebook allow even more engagement than they do sometimes on Twitter.
Yeah, I agree.
So you can get your sphere, you can add these to groups, you can add these to messages, you can put these on your profile without it being too salesy, I think, and let people engage and see that. Jeff, there was one other question that actually came into the chat, which was if someone gets a negative review from a difficult buyer or a seller and they write something negative, is it like Yelp or can it be removed?
Yeah, I addressed that already a little bit earlier, Laura, and Alex, who asked the question, said thanks. And that was what I was talking about relative to no text content ever appearing on our pages. And so you may get a survey response that may have a lower individual survey rating than you might like. The goal of this is to be accurate. I know everybody has come used to thinking that you have to have perfect 5-star reviews, and I just wholeheartedly disagree with that thinking. I don't believe the consumer is that stupid. I'm certainly not, and I am a consumer. So the goal is to be accurate, and the goal is to make certain that if we're going to have a customer satisfaction platform that has a byproduct of ratings, that those ratings be accurate. And so when we collect testimonials, again, we turn these testimonials into a graphic image, and that graphic image has the ability, it used to be that you could have it in any color you wanted as long as it was green, but we recently changed so that you could change the color of these graphics before sharing out to social media. And again, you get to make that determination. Again, we only ask for a testimonial if a client indicates in the way they answer their questions they were happy and they would recommend you to their friends and family members. But even though testimonials skew positive, it's possible for a consumer to say something in a testimonial that you might not want made public, like thank you for discounting my commission, or you were great, but John Smith on the other side of the transaction was a complete idiot. You probably would not want to make that public. If you choose to keep a testimonial private, it doesn't delete it. It just means that it's not going to be included in the public stream. You could still use it any way you wished privately. Once you choose to make the testimonial public, we then ask if you'd like to publish out into social media. We've written 55 different social media starter posts here for you. I think on Twitter, it's perfectly appropriate just to leave these as they are. 90+% of people never change what we've written. But we did find that when these boxes were empty, people just sort of stared at them. And so my admonition to you, and I think Laura spoke about it earlier, is that the opportunity for engagement on Facebook is higher, and it increases when you give just a little bit of context to what that transaction was about. And I always use this one as an example because I love it, because it was very simple. This is a heartfelt letter from a super nice client who's been a pleasure to work with. You'll notice 69 likes, 13 comments, one of them from her broker. I think this is what everyone's looking for when they publish this kind of content out to social media, and the reason why we make these graphic images instead of just text is that images are seen and shared more often on social media than just text and links. Okay, so feel free to just use this from a Twitter standpoint if you wish, but I would provide some context if you're posting out to Facebook. And if you don't wish to, at the time that you're going through the approval process, just say no thanks, click on next, and you can always come back in and do it later. And as Laura said, especially on Twitter, if let's say you've only got 3 testimonials and it's been a while since you posted one to Twitter, go back and post another one from earlier, and it's okay. The Twitter stream moves very, very quickly, so I think it's appropriate to do that. If you say yes or no, the next thing we remind you to do is connect to Realtor.com. It is 100% free. This whole thing that we're doing is a part of the basic Realtor.com profile. It doesn't require any upgrades. Don't know why anybody wouldn't want their ratings and testimonials to appear on Realtor.com, so we remind you to do so if you haven't. And then the last thing we give you the opportunity to do, and again, it's totally up to you, but we learned from our own internal customer satisfaction survey that 40% of our clients said they never said thank you to their clients after receiving a survey response, and we think that's way too high. So about 10% of people do choose to say thanks with a coffee. It's a simple way of just reaching out and thanking your customer for providing feedback. The goal of this entire system, again, if I can go back to the beginning, was to provide a methodology for collecting as much detail as possible from consumers at the close of a transaction. It, again, is a very significant transaction for your clients. You get one opportunity, really, to engage that customer to provide you feedback. I think it's a waste to miss the opportunity to do that for the simplified rating that exists in most places. Your goal as a realtor should be to understand your performance inside of that transaction to the greatest extent possible, and then once you've identified who your fans are, who are the people who have said, I'm raising my hand, I'm willing to fill out this survey for you, I'm willing to leave you a testimonial, we believe those people are the people that you should be leading to other profiles, because quite frankly, if we're all being honest, the reason why you want ratings on Zillow or Trulia or Yelp or any other platform is for marketing. The end game there is to have your best face forward. The end satisfaction platform is to understand exactly how you perform for your clients and to take whatever actions are required to make certain that your performance is always top-notch for future clients. And so that is what we do. Our job is to collect this information for you and to provide it to you in a format that allows you to distribute it as widely as possible. Now, we do take some very specific actions when a survey response comes in to determine whether or not somebody's trying to game the system. So this may come as a shock to some of you, but we do have agents who send surveys to themselves and argue vehemently that they know exactly how their client felt and they should be able to fill out the survey for their client. That is never going to be allowed on our platform. And so we run 5 different electronic tests against surveys that get responded to try and capture those fake responses. We then do something we call a quarantine, and you'll get a quarantine notice. We create a lot of false positives, so don't be offended if a survey that's from a real client of yours gets captured in quarantine. just click on the request review button. We manually review every one, and our goal is to make certain that real customer satisfaction survey responses from real clients make it into our platform, but that the fake ones don't. So this is how RealSatisfied works for you. Again, our integration with the San Antonio Board of Realtors provides you with two key benefits. The biggest benefit is the notification that you're going to receive at the close of transactions that reminds you to send the survey. That consistency in sending surveys is ultimately what's going to create a plethora of ratings and testimonials on your behalf, but it also creates a consistent behavioral pattern for you to learn from your clients. And then the second benefit that they provide is the discount on the pro accounts from $99 to $79. So happy to open it up to any other questions you might have. I appreciate you coming and spending some time with us, and I don't want to take any more of your time than necessary, but I want to make certain that any questions you might have are answered. Suzanne, I don't know how you want to handle it at this point, but happy to open up the microphones and let people go to town if you want.
Jeff, I think one of the last points that I think that I would love to just like drive home to is that the word of mouth marketability with the reviews and the ratings and certainly the testimonials just kind of continues to round out our features with the social media and some of the other things. So if you think about your marketing, also think about in terms of the word of mouth marketing, the amplification of your brand advocates, and using these testimonials to continue to inform not just your past clients, but your new clients of the type of service that you provide. And I think that's just another thing that helps drive the referral business to a very large extent. So I just wanted to reiterate that point.
Excellent. And a question did come through, is that $79 annually, monthly, what? It's $79 annually. We think it's a very reasonable price. Another question, if you already have reviews on Zillow and your website, how will this interact? Are you able to get previous reviews loaded into your system? We don't have a way to load previous reviews in our system, and the reason we don't is we don't see ourselves as a destination site. You can't search for agents on our site. Our goal is to act as a distribution point. So if you already have integrated Zillow reviews on your website, you can simply integrate these reviews into your website as well, utilizing any of the widgets available to you down here on the left-hand side. And I'll wait a couple of minutes and create some awkward silence on a webinar for any other questions you might have.
Jeff, do you want to talk a little bit about the new feature that we're working on to help agents get their RealSatisfied reviews onto other sites?
Yeah, I can. You know, we get the question a lot. How do I get my reviews onto Zillow? It's one of our most, asked questions. And I always use this as an example. If I go to my zip code 91390 and I search for agents on Zillow, I get 25 pages of results. I have to go through 18 pages of results before I get to anything less than a 5-star review. And so the whole point of sending someone to Zillow is to attract that positive attention, obviously. And so one of the things we want to do is to make it easier for you to identify, one, who your big fans are, who are the ones you really want to go and leave these reviews on Zillow, and then to create a system that helps you lead them there in the simplest way possible once you've identified who those people are. So we have built a system that will end up showing up here, hopefully, just above publishing services that's going to be called Encourage Reviews, that will allow you to create a landing page that will automatically copy the testimonial that your client left for you into their browser to make it easier for them to be taken directly to the page where they can leave reviews on other platforms.
Perfect.
All right, Suzanne, I think we're done with questions, and I'm happy to conclude this if you are. Let me know if you've received any other questions that you think we should answer, but this is RealSatisfied. This is how it works, and I want to point out that all of our customer service is done online. If you have a question, simply click on this Ask Our Help Desk link right here, or send an email to help@realsatisfied.com.
And just to throw in also, somebody is asking about listening to the recording. We are recording it, and we will put it on our Save More YouTube page, and we'll share it with our members, so you'll be able to watch the recording.
Excellent.
Yep, that's great.
All right, thank you again, everyone, for attending. Suzanne, thank you for hosting, and we're happy to have you guys on board.
Thank you very much.